I just spent 3 weeks living in a brand new city, in a house with no furniture and nothing in the kitchen, and I only gained 1 pound. To figure out how I did that, stick around. I'm getting into it right now. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Manya, and I've been on a longevity and health and wellness journey for almost 5 years now. And while there's been some ups and downs, I'm hitting a point where I feel like I'm in a groove that I can maintain for a long time. So a quick wrap up if you're new here. Back in 2020 and 2021, I lost almost 40 pounds on Weight Watchers, eating primarily a whole food, plant-based diet. And then in 2022, I met my now husband and enjoyed myself for quite a while and gained back about 20 of those pounds. And then we moved to Japan, gained about 10 more, and then I just decided I needed to figure out how to do this in a sustainable way. Because like so many of you, in the past, I had lost a bunch of weight and then thought, okay, now I don't need to track anymore. Now I don't need to monitor everything that I put in my mouth, and that's when the scale starts to slowly creep up. And then I went through these emotional ups and downs that we all do, where we commit on a Monday and then by Friday, we're going out. I was living in a new country with very different food and I wanted to try everything. And what can I say? I'm human. But what I noticed about myself is I was starting to get really obsessively tracking, feeling incredibly guilty if I didn't, obsessive workouts, just a lot of stress around food, and I wasn't losing anything. So in, let's say, I think it was about March of this year, 2024, I signed up with a group, a business called PLT Nutrition. I'll link them down below. They have a Facebook group that you can join for free, and so much information is shared there for free. And they really specialize in women who are going through the menopausal cycle. So whether you're in perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopausal, that's sort of their specialty. And I realized that something has happened to me between 2022, when I lost all that weight, and today, and I believe it's perimenopause. And I have a bunch of symptoms that I could point to, including achy joints, increased symptoms the week before my period, that led me to believe I'm in perimenopause. So in March of 2024, I signed up with a coach at PLT Nutrition, and that was ostensibly to lose weight and really recomp my body. And my previous video was sort of about that journey. And what's interesting is that I've only lost 5 pounds, and yet my body is totally different, as you can see here from this picture. And one of the things that I have approached with my coach, and I'm still coaching, I'm still going through coaching with them, and this is not sponsored, I spend my own money on this. One of the things I'm working on is what my coach and I call food freedom. And this is the idea that at some point I will stop tracking and I will maintain and I will relax about all of this. So recently, my husband and I went back to the United States for 3 weeks to take care of a new home that we have purchased in Las Vegas. That's where we're going to move after we're done here in Japan. We purchased a house and we just wanted to get in there and learn the house and make some repairs and do some stuff to it before we come back here for the last 9-10 months of our time in Japan. The house is empty, has no furniture. Well, there's one chair. There's one chair and some outdoor furniture, and an air mattress. That's it, nothing in the kitchen. So I spent a long time before we went thinking about how I wanted to handle this and talking to my coach. And we made a decision that for the 3 weeks I was there, I would do no weighing. So that's no weighing of my body, no weighing of food. And that I would do my best just to maintain and to prioritize the things that PLT nutrition says are important. Specifically for women around our age, those things are prioritizing protein, fiber, NEAT, and that's really it. Protein, fiber, and NEAT. And I can't remember what NEAT stands for, but I will put it here on the screen. I've talked about it before. It's essentially just movement that's not exercise. One of the things that happens to women in the menopausal cycle is that we get tired and we stop moving as much. So just making sure that you're moving, even moving my hands right now, or being inefficient, as they say at PLT Nutrition. So don't gather everything at once to take it up the stairs. Go up the stairs 5 times to take stuff up. For me here in Japan, I sometimes will walk the subway platform or walk to a farther away subway stop. And then all of that, of course, is in addition to my workouts where I lift very heavy weights, which is something we all need to be doing as we age. A couple challenges going to Las Vegas. In addition to the fact that there's nothing in the house, there was a couple of plastic plates, forks, spoons, and knives from when we visited for a couple of days back in June, but nothing to cook with. So that was challenge number 1. Challenge number 2 is that I knew my step count was going to go down dramatically because I don't drive here in Japan. So even to walk to the grocery store is a quarter mile away. The subway's a quarter mile away. My gym is a half mile away. Whenever I leave my house and I'm not with my husband in the car, I am walking. So it's if you're American, think of it as being like you live in New York City. That's what my life here is like. So my step goal for every day that my coach set for me is 12,000 steps a day. That's my baseline goal. And yesterday, for example, I was at almost 16,000 steps because I did a treadmill walk. In Las Vegas, our house is in a neighborhood. There's nothing to walk to. So every time I needed to do anything, all I did was walk to the garage and get in a car. Very American and very different than what I'm used to here. So I knew that food would be difficult, and I also knew that my NEAT and my step count would go down. And then, of course, the gym issue. Now, for me, the gym was... I had an opportunity because here in Japan, I'm a member of Anytime Fitness. And the great thing about Anytime Fitness is that the key that lets you in the door will work anywhere around the world. So I just needed to find at least one Anytime Fitness in Las Vegas that I could use and commit to going. The 4th challenge was that I was having 2 visitors. Well, in the 3 weeks we were in Las Vegas. My mom came and visited, and then my best friend came in and visited. And so how to balance them visiting with maintaining my goals. So 4 challenges. In addition, international travel is very exhausting. If you've never done it to Asia, from the United States or that part of the world, it's very, very long. Each way was 3 plane rides, with one of them being 10 hours, and then of course crossing the international date line. A lot of this kind of travel for me, now that I've done it a few times, involves just giving myself an incredible amount of grace, because hunger is a very strange thing when you travel like that, at least for me. I am hungry every couple hours, and it's this painful, deep hunger. It's very strange. It's like my body just can't adjust very well. So all of those things were on my mind as I planned this 3 weeks. So here are my goals. My goal was to, 1, continue to work out in the gym 5 days a week. Number 2, like I said, No tracking and weighing of food, just prioritizing protein, fiber, and really only eating when I was truly hungry, which is a very hard thing for many of us because your brain can trick you into thinking you're hungry when you're not. So I spent a lot of time thinking, am I actually hungry right now, or do I just want to eat food? Here's a tip if you've struggled with trying to understand whether you're physically hungry or emotionally hungry. I try to picture something, a food that I don't really love. Like I'm not a huge fan of fish. Salmon is not my favorite. I don't love steak. And so I'll sometimes think, am I hungry enough to eat a piece of salmon? And if the answer is yes, then I know I'm physically hungry. And if the answer is no, I know I'm emotionally hungry. So that was goal number 2. So goal number 1, work out 5 days a week. Goal number 2, eat food intuitively. That was goal number 2. And that was really it, I guess. And to try and maintain, I'll say that. I didn't figure out what maintenance calories would look like or anything like that. I just set my mind to, I'm not going to commit to losing any weight while I'm gone because that seems stressful. Just maintain. And when I get back, I can get back on the horse. So all in all, I returned on Saturday and did not weigh myself until Monday morning, just to try and let my body settle a little bit from the travel. And on Monday morning, I had gained 1 pound from 3 weeks early, from the last time I had weighed myself. And then Tuesday morning, which is today, I had lost another almost pound. So here's what I did while I was there. Like I said, I did work out almost 5 days a week. Sometimes I had to compress those workouts into multiple days in a row and then a few days off because of a visitor. I couldn't get to the gym. That seemed to work. And then as soon as I got there, I went to Target and I bought 1 pot, a couple of pans. I bought one of those sets like you give to college students. I bought plates and silverware and glasses and just basic everything that we needed in order to cook very simple meals. And then, of course, I went food shopping. And I made sure that starting on day 1, we were fully stocked with food. I went to Costco and I went to Trader Joe's multiple times. We ate at home the vast majority of time that we were there. And that was really important to me. My husband and I went out to eat dinner, I think 3 times in 3 weeks, which is not bad. And then because I had visitors, I ate out a couple more times with them. But when I ate out, I tried to keep it small and simple and really limit the alcohol. And that was pretty much it. You know, one of the things that I have found very helpful in my weight loss journey is just de-emphasizing the importance of food. We live in a culture where food is kind of pornography for us. I'm watching Top Chef and you just think about how beautiful food is and how we're set up to crave it all the time. And for me, over the 5 years, I've really sort of minimalized my palate so that simple food appeals to me more than really heavy, fatty restaurant food. And so I go out to restaurants and I eat and I'm like, that was okay. I prefer my food. And that's a huge step because I used to love getting dressed up and going to fancy meals and that being my source of entertainment. And I've just moved away from that. My body just feels better when I eat my food. So we really focused on just eating simple food at home. And it is kind of incredible how few tools you need in order to just cook basic, simple food. At the end of the day, I think I did many, many, many things right. And I'm not going to say anything I did wrong. Every time I made a decision that I knew might inhibit my progress, I made it knowingly. I made it with intention, and I knew that it would be fine. And for me, that's kind of the huge thing about all of this. I know that the 4 or 5 days that travel is on each side, I just have to let myself eat whatever's in front of me, eat what I'm given, because you have so little control on an airplane as to what you eat. And I also knew that when I got back, I'd give myself a couple of days to recover from jet lag, and then I'd get back on the horse, because that's what I do. And for me, that is by far the biggest accomplishment in the last 5 years, is that I know at this point, this is how I'm doing it. This is it. No more worrying that I'm going to slide backwards, or that I won't be able to keep it up, or that something's going to tempt me and I might binge. I just don't want that anymore. I'm so happy feeling strong and flexible and just good that I don't really want to go backwards. And so I just am going to continue figuring out how to have this food freedom. So that's my update from the last 3 weeks. If I can sleep on a mattress on the floor and make food in a kitchen that only has 1 pot and 1 pan, you can accomplish your goals as well. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, and as always, thank you for being here. Bye.